All right, Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, a great millstone, and Shalom to the Akim out there preaching his word in truth and sincerity. This is Brother Shamar coming back with another lesson. And in this lesson, I want to speak on this article right here that you see. Because it's pretty much, I'm going to read the heading. It says, Biden regime declares those who question official government CVID narratives to be terrorists, insane war on the people has been launched. And we've been speaking on this here and there about how they was going to be doing stuff like this, as far as like if you speak against the narrative that the government is pushing, then you're going to be deemed a terrorist or enemy of the state. And now they're at a point to where they're pushing this legislation and passing bills behind the scenes to justify their actions when they do roll on the people, and with all this other stuff going on in the news and everything, they're not going to tell you any of this stuff that's going on. They're not going to speak on any of these things, because if the people is hearing things like this, how you could be targeted just from the simple facts of, your beliefs or your opinions or what you say, that would be a major red flag that should go off in your head, But what are they talking about on the news? How inflation or this and that and all this other stuff, BS, basically, just to distract you while they're planning their real plans behind the scenes. All right, and first I wanted to get the scripture real quick. In Isaiah, this is Isaiah 10:1. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and write grievousness which they have prescribed." And why? And what decrees are they passing? Like I'm just speaking on, and I'm about to go into from the article. Things around this. The government is declaring war on the people, basically. All right. And who does he mainly want to target? You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Yeah, he doesn't care about the rest of the people as well, but that's his main target, because those Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are the children of Israel, are the main ones who, are against this whole agenda pretty much. All right. And that's his main target. And when you read the article a little bit, and I'm going to go to this other site too, you're going to see how it's indirectly targeting directly at us, pretty much, right? So I'm gonna read a little bit of this and go directly to the DHS site to where he has gotten some of this information from. All right. So I read the heading. It's from naturalnews.com. It says, as the militant left works hard to counsel anyone who isn't down with the regime's narratives, the Biden regime is preparing to literally target anyone who supports President Donald Trump's America First agenda, branding them as domestic terrorists and anti-government zealots. According to a Department of Homeland Security bulletin published earlier this week, the regime has singled out everyone who they claim is responsible for the proliferation of false or misleading narratives as a top terrorism threat. In other words, if Americans have a different point of view regarding the jab mandates or other issues, they are now deemed enemies of the state just for exercising their supposed constitutionally protected right of freedom of free speech. And exactly, which is showing you that you don't have any freedoms here in America, all right? Because you're supposed to have freedom of speech and be entitled to your own opinion and all this other stuff, be able to criticize the government, but really, you don't have freedom to do so, like the dude was speaking on in the article. And then he mentions right here the National Terrorism Advisory System Bulletin warned of heightened terror threat emanating from an online environment filled with false or misleading narratives and conspiracy theories and other forms of dis, and malinformation introduced or amplified by foreign and domestic threat actors. And then I went to the site. He had, the link on there. and it's showing you right here. This is the date it was issued, and this is on directly the DHS government site. The date it was issued was the date it was issued was on February the 7th in 2022, and then it has the PDF as well, where it's just 2 pages, and then you can see right here it says the summary of terrorism threat to the U.S. homeland. The United States remains in a heightened threat environment fueled by several factors. They only mentioned 3 from what I see, on here, but it says 7 because they label it out in 3. But it says including an online environment filled with false or misleading narratives and conspiracy theories and other forms of dis, and malinformation introduced and or amplified by foreign and domestic threat actors. And that's always the biggest thing, because it's a so-called conspiracy theory just because it's exposing the truth and the lies that they're telling. All right, that's what they always been calling conspiracy theories. Whenever it exposes Esau and what he's working on, you're a conspiracy theorist, and now they're actually plotting to come against you. All right, so continuing on, it says these threat actors seek to exacerbate societal friction, to sow discord, and undermine public trust in government institutions, to encourage unrest, which could potentially inspire acts of violence, mass casualty attacks, and other acts of targeted violence conducted by lone offenders and small groups, acting in furtherance of ideological beliefs and or personal grievances, pose an ongoing threat to the nation, while the conditions underlying the heightened threat landscape have not significantly changed over the last year. The convergence of the following factors has increased the volatility, unpredictability, and complexity of the threat environment. The proliferation of false or misleading narratives, which sow discord or undermine public trust in the U.S. government institutions. And that's basically you telling the truth, pretty much. It's saying false or misleading narratives is what they're deeming as false, because it's always up to Esau to deem what's right or wrong, since he's in that position of power. And he's been lying about this whole, scamdemic thing going on from the jump. And it's been getting exposed, but now he's passing bills and legislation to justify him rolling on the people who's putting out this information. It's going to go past him just, canceling your YouTube page, or, taking down your content, or flagging it on social media saying that this isn't fact checker stuff, fact checker stuff and all that. Now they're going to be actually rolling on you at some point, more than likely. But continuing on, it breaks it into 3 sections. It says the proliferation of false or misleading narratives which sow discord or undermine public trust in U.S. government institutions. Continued calls for violence directed at U.S. critical infrastructure, soft targets, and mass gatherings. Faith-based institutions such as churches, synagogues, and mosques. Institutions of higher education, racial and religious minorities, government facilities and personnel, including law enforcement and the military, the media, and perceived ideological opponents, and caused by foreign terrorist organization for attacks on the United States based on recent events. But you see that they broke that part down with faith-based institutions, as well as the racial and religious minorities. And you already know about the bill of I slipped my mind at this moment, but the bill that they have under the legislation, where it's basically it literally labels a section out for so-called Black Hebrew Israelites, and this is just indirectly targeting people that have any type of faith, and who are the main ones they're going to be targeting, because it's all these other institutions, like they say, faith-based institutions like these churches and stuff. They're telling you to take the job, but who are Who are the other, people who have faith that are not telling you to take it? Mainly GMS, We're telling you not to take it, not to trust everything that the government is telling you, this and that. And now they're deeming you a terrorist for just off of your beliefs. And like I mentioned in the other article, that's supposed to be your right, one of your constitutional rights. Freedom of speech, freedom to believe in whatever you want to fucking believe in, according to Esau, which shows you that he's the devil and he doesn't even abide by his own laws that he tells you to abide by, which we already know this, okay? But that was the main point I wanted to hit. If you want to read more of it, you can. This link was on the other article. And then it's saying it expires in June. So it's from February the 7th to June. But it's basically telling you that you're a threat to the government for your beliefs, pretty much. All right? And we've been knowing that we were going to be considered a threat. All right? And this is Matthew chapter 10, verse 22. It says, "And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved." Yeah, and we're already hated by, the masses of our people, which is already understood. All right. Yeah, we're going to be hated. You can see how Esau is going to paint that narrative even further and have the legislation and things in the background once he does go about, rolling on the true believers of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, deeming you a terrorist for stating your beliefs and exposing his lies that he's putting out there, man. All right. But it says you're going to be hated for Yahweh Shem Yahushai's sake. Because like I was just reading an article, it said that any faith-based institution, and we know damn well it's not about these churches and stuff out here, because the vast majority of these churches and synagogues and shit, they're pushing that you should take whatever the government tells you to take and do whatever the government tells you to do. All right. The only ones who are telling you to do the opposite is pretty much, GMS. All right. And the true worshipers of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right, who truly believe in the words of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. They're the only ones who are going to tell you not to take it. All right, not to take that jab, not to listen to everything that the government tell you to do and just blindly follow them. All right, because you're following the devil to destruction at that point. And now that we're pushing this message, all right, the message of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, ultimately, what? You're being deemed a terrorist of the state for speaking the truth. And it's not like it's a conspiracy theory like Esau always like to throw that word around, because it's actually facts. We can go into all the different doctors and scientists that agree with what we say. So it's not like we just pulling things out of thin air. The information is out there, but he's trying to tell you that information is false and his is actually real, incredible. All right. But that's exactly what the devil would do. All right. That's why you can't trust everything that he says, man. But continuing on, it says, "But when they persecute you in this city, flee into another. For verily I say unto you, ye shall not have gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man be come. The disciple is not above his master, nor the servant above his Lord. It is enough for the disciple that he be as his master, and the servant as his Lord. If they have called the master of the house of Beelzebub, if they have called the master of the house of Beelzebub, how much more shall they call them of his household?" So yeah, they was basically calling Yahweh Shai Satan back then. So how much more so us in this time? He's calling now modern day time, they're going to call us terrorists. They're going to call us Satan, evil, this and that. All right. Because of what we believe, which is the words and the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right. So we're going to be deemed the enemy of the state, an enemy of the people, and they're going to turn the people against us by pushing their false BS narratives like they've been doing with everything. All right. But we understand that that's just part of the game or whatever. That's what this devil is going to do regardless. He's on his way out of here, so he's just going to do the most on his way out. As things are getting closer to the end, he's just going to go all out as much as possible. Okay. Nonetheless, like it said in the verse 22, it's all about enduring to the end, going through these things. Understanding the things that we're going through is just part of the story. All right, because it tells you in let me grab it in Acts. Acts 14 and 22. Through much tribulation, that's how we're going to enter to the kingdom. So it's not going to be a smooth transition. Okay. It's Acts 14 and 22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith. And this is why we make these videos and these lessons, to exhort you to continue in the faith, man. Because the times that we're living in are evil times, man. And they're only going to get worse from this point on. And you can see that if you're paying attention to what's going on in the economy, geopolitically, the news, just being out and about and seeing how the world is operating right now, you can see that it's on a one-way road to destruction. All right. And collapsing, all hell breaking loose. Everything written in the scriptures, ultimately, the prophecies coming to pass, man. Civil unrest, or the government rolling on the people, famine, plagues, destruction. All these things are on the way. Nonetheless, we exhorting our people that truly believe in Yahweh Shem Yahushua to continue in the faith, man, throughout all these different things that are going to take place, because we understand that these things must be in order for us to getting to the kingdom and have the kingdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushua be established on the earth, man. All right. But continuing on, it says, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must, through much tribulation, enter into the kingdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So this is how we're going to enter into there. It's not going to be just a smooth transition where everything just all peaches and cream, man. It's going to be the ups and downs. You might have good moments, you won't have bad moments, and overall, man, we're here to catch hell, man. We are in hell. All right, this is hell, living in Esau society, man. Okay. But it says through much tribulation, man, because it's going to be hell out here, especially in these last days, man. And we pretty much are in these last days. And you can see that from the, how things are getting worse and worse, man. Ever since 2022 started up until now, not 2022, 2020 started, and now we're in 2022. Look at the progression of how things have gotten worse since then, man. And you think it's going to go back to normal? No, that's not even a thing that should be questionable at this point. Okay. Yet nonetheless, like I've been saying, this is a process that we have to go through in order for us to enter into the kingdom, man. And that's why we have to stay upon our watch, like it says in Habakkuk. All right. Because this devil is making his moves behind the scenes. In the midst of all this confusion and shit going on, he's making his moves in place, passing legislation and different things like that to justify his wickedness. Okay. And we're going to be painted as the enemies, which we've been on that, but he's going about it, passing the legislation and shit to so-called justify his actions. All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up on that. I just wanted to touch on that article real quick and speak on it, because that's just, further confirmation of the times that we live in, man. And that famine of the word is going to come very soon, because it's showing you that freedom of speech is little by little getting cut out. All right, you're not going to be able to speak against the government agenda or speak freely about anything you want to talk about in the near future. Okay. Hey, so with that, I'm going to give all praises again to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash, double honor to our apostles and elders, great millstone, and Shalom to the Akim out there preaching his word in truth and sincerity. Shalom.